So, welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. I have talked about radical acceptance on my platform and in the past, and how much it has helped me de-stress and focus on the things that are important to me in my life. The definition of radical acceptance is a conscious effort to acknowledge and honor situations and emotions, fully accepting things as they are instead of fighting against reality or wishing things were different. You know, the issues I've talked about before that I had a hard time accepting were abortion and women being mothers. In 2025, there is no reason to argue with a pro-life person about the issue of abortion. It's pointless. They are never going to change their minds, and women will fight, die for the ability to get an abortion, regardless of how I feel about it. In 2025, women are going to sleep around. Promiscuity is a part of the modern woman's pathology, and it's never going to go away. If I meet a woman and she's a whore, there's no saving her, so don't even try. The latest issue I've had to accept is modern women do not respect men and will humiliate them as they see fit. The days of women revering their husbands and treating them with dignity and respect are over. This is especially true on social media. Women will air out their relationship business all over TikTok and Instagram without a thought as to how it will affect their man. It doesn't matter if the guy is a bum or if he is high value. The average man has to worry if their girlfriend or their wife will run their mouth for attention and likes. So when I was on Twitter, I saw a clip from Trent Horn's wife. So Trent Horn was a guy I debated a couple of months ago. And I really did think he was a super simp. Like, he basically was on this show saying that men need to get married. You know, the sleeping around is men, it's not women doing it. And I just knew sometimes my super simp radar goes off, right? I'm like, this guy, his wife is running the relationship because of how he thinks and his super simp tendencies. Now, I think this was the guy who hosted it, Pints with Aquinas. And again, this is the challenge you get with the religious men. It's like what they have a tendency to do is they virtue signal morality. So they say, I am so moral. But how moral can you be as a man if you are afraid of your wife? Yeah, like if you fear your wife, you're officially a woman now. You have the same morals as a woman because you're going to defer to our morals. And you know we don't have morality. You know we don't have. Okay, so here we go.
Hey, so I got super close to a male coworker.
Make sure this isn't on 2X. Okay.
Hey, so I got super close to a male coworker. Yeah. And I shared this testimony, and we used to do like a marriage encounter weekend, and I shared this testimony, and I got too close to him. And you start, I wouldn't say developing feelings, and Trent knows all this stuff, but I think that's how affairs happen. They happen very slowly. It's not like you just have an affair with someone. You get to know them. You're attracted to their temperament. They see the best side of you. And like Trent was very uncomfortable with it. And I was like, well, we're just friends, but he's not a jealous person at all. So he was like, I'm just asking that you don't do anything that you wouldn't be uncomfortable with me doing with a woman. Like you have that same standard. Like if I was like talking to a coworker often and joking around with that person and they were, like getting.
So she's talking publicly about how she wanted to smash another dude and she thinks this is acceptable. And the men in the room don't even check her. This is conservatism.
To know you. Would you be comfortable with me doing that? And I was like, absolutely not. I would burn her house down. Actually, is how I would handle that. She'd be gone. Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, okay. So I did have to set like a standard. Like I can't talk to you one-on-one anymore. And it's so hard because you don't want to, like when you do that, you assume you're kind of making an assumption about the other person that they're attracted to you. So it comes off very awkward. Like, like I can't talk to you anymore. And they're like, you're just my friend and I'm not into you.
Now look. Are there times where this happens, right? Where if a husband and wife is together for 30 years, you don't think both parties have at one point thought about cheating? That the thought has ever come to their head. I know it's an uncomfortable truth, right? But the same way, there's times when men think about their wives that she's an ungrateful bitch and she's a whore and I shouldn't have married her. But what the men don't do is they don't go on a podcast and say that, where you have Michelle Obama saying she hated her husband for 10 years. And we think it's okay. And the men don't do that to us, but we do it to them and we think it's all right.
You that way. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you're like, well, I misread this. And so, but I didn't misread it. And so, but I think things happen.
So she said, I didn't misread it. Now this guy, what a simp. Bro, like, isn't this guy your friend? Isn't Trent your friend? And you're allowing his wife to embarrass him. Like, do you guys hate your friends? This is oh my God. I don't know if this is live or pre-recorded, but if this was pre-recorded and that was your friend, bury the footage. Do you know what I mean? Like, you tell your friend's wife, hey, this is not a good look, and you bury it.
And slowly within the workforce that are, and not everybody for sure, but I think I'm someone who is like vulnerable to that, to like someone's personality or, so I have to be on guard for that.
No, like, I don't know if you feel this way.
Yeah. So she essentially thinks it's okay to talk about wanting to bang another dude. Yeah, okay, look, men probably want to cheat all the time. They have these like high sex drives, and men, they just want to bang everything, right? Over a certain threshold. But, there's a new crop of 22-year-old women that show up every year, 32-year-old. I mean, there's a whole new batch of women every year coming. And, the men want to smash, right? But they don't go out and say it. They shut up. We don't know how to shut the F up. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so next. All right, so if you're not familiar with Trent Horm, he's a Catholic apologist that simps for women. I debated with him 10 months ago, and he made a bunch of videos about me simping the F out and saying that I just hate women. And he said, oh, you just simp for men. Well, I'd rather simp for men than women, because at least men have morals. At least men do the right thing. We don't. Now, what I just showed, and so this is what happens, is these guys are so afraid of being honest, because we all know men have an innate, like, you guys, it's just in you. You guys know what's true and what's not true. Us, we don't have that. That is like gone, dissolved, nasky nada, right? And so when you see guys like this that simp out for women, what it means is they're liars. Okay, they're liars and they're afraid of us. And it's understandable. We're pretty scary. We can do a lot of damage to a man. But it still makes you a simp, right? So what I just showed is his wife talking about how she was attracted to a male coworker. Let that sink in for a second. A Catholic apologist wife, a public figure, and sole provider's wife is saying shit like this on the internet. It's insanity. How does this make her husband look? Does she think about her husband's image before she said this stuff? She has a podcast called Too Far with Laura Horn. Most female content creators, again, conservative female content creators, cannot help but use their kids and their husbands for clout. Now, I'm not talking about like Tucker Carlson posts a picture of his family once a year. I'm not talking about that. But they don't know how to be good people and be nice and likable. And so what they do is they use their families as a way to virtue signal. So she's going to use her whole life as content. Like when men come to the internet, like Tucker Carlson, for example, he may mention his wife, but it's not the subject of the podcast, right? The subject of the podcast is the conservative stuff. Where women, the subject is, look at how awesome I am. Look at how amazing I am. Okay, so there's an article written that how do women humiliate men? Okay. Have you ever been humiliated as a man? One in the chat. One in the chat. I was humiliated on many occasions, and it made me feel powerless and just not good enough. I remember this one evening when I was at a conference in Dubai, sitting among big shots in the video game industries. We had dinner and drinks, lots of drinks. I was just about to leave the party. I and another girl were the only females at that party. I was a senior business manager. While she was a junior, we shared the same manager, and it was I who persuaded him to bring her along to help her learn something from the seniors. But as it turned out, she envied me. So when I stood up and told my goodbyes, one of my business partners asked me to stay for another drink. She answered instead of me. But she can't. Didn't you know? She drinks too much. He. That's what we do. We add in a he, right? That's what we'll say something that's a terrible thing to say, and then we'll say he, like that makes it better. I was lucky enough to be in the company of a gentleman who ignored this girl's comment. Looking back now, I know it was her who humiliated herself. The fall down of my best friend. My good friend was recently humiliated again once by his wife on his birthday. They were having a party where many of his friends were present. Somehow sex came up and my friend's wife told his friends that her husband has a small penis and that's why she has a vibrator. Oh my gosh. A long silence followed. Another birthday was ruined. This was not the first time his wife put him down in front of others. Humiliation is a form of abuse. The worst is when the humiliations come from someone close to you, someone you are in a relationship with, and it is an unpleasant feeling which shakes you to the very core. Humiliations come in many forms, such as bullying, name-calling, or mocking, bad-mouthing, spreading rumors, and making belittling remarks, pointing out your disabilities or inabilities, and insulting your beliefs or your ridiculous religion or rituals, inappropriately teasing you in front of others. But why do certain women humiliate their men? They must know that what they are doing is going to inflict pain on their partner. They must be aware of that. Humiliation is just another form of control. It's abusive behavior, and when a woman humiliates you, it gives her a sense of power over you. Most likely, they do this because they have very low self-esteem and they want to feel superior. Many men wait around and accept this as a form of abuse because it's subtle. It happens once in a while when your friends come around or at a family dinner. Your partner might make small remarks about your clothing or compare you to someone else, stating that you are not doing financially well enough. Often, she would laugh and make it seem like a joke. Again, insult. It's like women will do this, not all, but a lot. They'll insult what you care about. They'll insult your passions. They'll insult your family, your children, your parenting, and then they'll add in he, as if that makes it go away. Okay, how to spot a humiliation. Humiliation is sometimes hard to spot and can be mistaken for teasing. It can start with her making a childish gesture or chastising you for speaking your mind. Does your girlfriend like to insult you in front of strangers? Does she laugh at your mistakes? Does she put you down because you are not dressed well enough? Does she speak about your intimate relationships in front of friends? Does she compare you to her past boyfriends or husbands in front of others? If yes, then it's time to part ways. Men stay in toxic, abusive relationships. The issue is that many men will stay in abusive relationships and they'll keep ignoring and brushing it off. But don't. These are red signs. Being ridiculed will lead to serious health problems. I know men who have become isolated and stopped seeing their friends because they fear that their girlfriends or wives will make belittling remarks. I know men who have developed anxiety and depression and started binge drinking at home. We must start recognizing the abuse of men by their partners. Johnny Depp has shown society that it's time to stand up to abuse. Society still has the wrong beliefs about men who have kept this kind of abuse hidden for too long. Some of these beliefs are that men don't get pushed around by women. Men should not protect themselves when a woman is hitting them. Men should be tough and accept rudeness. Men should provide for women even after divorce. Men should be able to handle their women. Because of these toxic beliefs, men who are abused by women don't speak about it. And even police and other professionals may not take the abuse seriously. As a result, these men suffer. It's time to help these men find the courage to speak up because abuse can happen to men too. Partners in men's will help you. Oh wait, this is a ad. Okay. So we have some videos of women embarrassing their husbands on social media. So we got this one. Let me turn this on. Start this from the beginning. Okay, go. Oh. Okay, wait. There we go. Come in 2 to 3 songs late and immediately show zero consideration for the people behind you. So this is very expensive place to go, I guess, in Vegas. She got to start a fight with the people behind you who you're blocking. Oh, she flicked him off. Yeah, and see, her husband's a super simp. It's time. See, this is what I mean. Like, you guys will simp. Not you guys, right? I'm sure you guys have divorced all your wives or whatever. But like, if I expect you to accept this behavior, right? I need to see at least a 6. Okay, like otherwise this is just like if you're simping but she's a baddie, at least it kind of makes sense, right? At least I could say, all right, that, but I mean, come on. So then they go get security again. So then she goes even harder. When security comes, refuse to leave and show everyone who's in charge. Can you imagine, guys? He probably paid $3,000 for those tickets. And now she's got to leave. He's like, get out. So embarrassing. Have yourself a guy who is torn between getting arrested and supporting his girl. Would you guys leave her or stay? That's a super simp. That's a super simp. So now, first he wanted to leave, and now he has to do the embarrassing thing even though he doesn't want to do it. That's so embarrassing. You guys, all right. That is embarrassing. Now he's going back and dancing. Why do they have female security guards? I mean, that's like the most pointless job ever. Hold on. And finally, do not give up your support for the Eagles, no matter how many police officers, plus your guy is telling you it's time to go. Oh, I guess that would be it. You do need female security guards to get the women out, because women do sue. You like touch them and they're like, lawsuit. That's what the girls on my show would do. But it was illegal. We could kick them out. But there was times where the security would drag them out and they're like, I'm going to sue, I'm going to sue, I'm going to sue. So it's not a bad idea. So that, kids, is how you get yourself forcibly removed from the Eagles opening night concert at the Sphere. Oh my gosh. That is so bad. Resisting authorities is always a great idea. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She's sitting on the ground. She's so old. How could she be doing this at this age? That's what happens, you know. No one, like, she just got ugly. Nobody, like, imagine if she was a hot 22-year-old woman, do you think that they would have told her to sit down or just dealt with it? They would have dealt with it. And then they become the ugly 42-year-old woman, right?
That's the move. You don't leave. No, you gotta get up.
How would you handle it, guys? Let me know in the chat on the website. I would leave her. I'd go home. Or would I stay? Would I like want to enjoy the you know what? It'd be funny. Do you know what? I feel like it would be funnier if the husband went and got security. But yeah, he's a super simp. He's not going to do that. And she chose her exit song perfectly. Oh, wait. Amazing. All right. So Michelle Obama said all sorts of terrible things about Barack, says Doug MPA. Carlo says, religious people expect and project too much order in a world that is too unpredictable and requires adaptability. We can't live a healthy life if we question our nature at every corner. These examples are obnoxious and not appropriate, obviously. She's effectively cheating without physical contact. The other thing women do is slowly and methodically build a narrative of how her husband is stupid or something. It starts off playfully, like little funny jokes and pet names, cute stuff. That's where it starts. And the guy is lured into a false sense of security, thinking it's just a playful game until it's not. It's manipulative and coercive control. My ex-wife did this, now divorced, and I have full custody of the children. Carlos says, the church feels like a psyop sometimes. You think you are getting closer to God in your personal life, and then you have your ideas shut down, get a vibe like you have to lie even if you disagree. If he leaves and she gets in more trouble, it's going to be more work later on. See, that's why I need the guy's point of view, how you would do. What you would do. My church has my back, but I'm still alone. Pearl's the first person I've seen who talks about how women will follow their pastors before their husbands. My dad, the only other person who has warned me about that. In Australia, there are more laws in place against coercive control and manipulation. We need to get these women held accountable. And you know, now that women being removed is going to go and blame her man for not defending her more. That's so true. Should her boyfriend be legally allowed to pick up his drunk woman and take her out of the concert? I don't think he is. Let's give thanks to the cameraman for catching all that. Curveball says she's throwing a tantrum. To be fair, she probably got too drunk. Yeah, she probably got too drunk to remember what happened. Doug MPA, the video is marriage for the average guy for the last 30 years. She got them kicked out of the concert and now he's going to get hell the whole ride home. Okay. I see why men fear us. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty bad.